Since the news of David Clowes being willing to give up to 80% of Derby County in a potential takeover or investment bid, there's been a lot of speculation, a lot of talk across the fan base about all the things that could go on with this potential takeover. Now, I think there's a few positives and negatives. I'm going to go through the potential negatives in this video. Now, I know some people won't want to look at the negatives, but I believe it is massively important to do that so that we can see the real side of what could happen during a takeover. Now, if you have not done so already, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below and check the links in my description for all my latest content, whether it be on this channel or my other channels, which you'll see going across on the ticker below. Now, when we talk about David Clowes giving up Derby County, he's obviously done a fantastic job over the course of his tenure at this club, being the owner and the chairman. I think he's done an excellent job in player recruitment and even in manager recruitment. I think Paul Warner's done a really good job. Now, if we were to be taken over up to 80% and that be by a singular person, we have a situation where David Clowes lacks control of the club, and although he wants to stay in a chairman role, what actual say does he actually have? You can put in a contractual obligation, of course, but who's going to want to purchase 80% of a football club and not have control or be in control of who's in charge? Now, you obviously look at other ownership groups when they've taken over clubs. You look at the Americans at Birmingham. They instantly came in and took John Eustace out of a job when Birmingham was sitting in the playoff positions. That then led to Birmingham City getting relegated. Now, this is the big thing that worries me about any potential takeover. Now, I do believe it is what Derby County need. There'll be a video further down the line about the positives of my thoughts of a takeover. But right now, I think we're in a position where we're trying to stabilise and recover ourselves to being a championship club again. And I think we've got to do that with stability and bringing in a new owner who realistically is going to want to bring in my opinion, probably going to want to bring in their own management team, probably going to want to bring in their own backers for the board and things like that, which obviously then changes who's in the decision-making capacity roles. And this is something which has caused me a few problems, and I spoke about it on the Rams Review podcast over the course of last week. I think it was out on Monday evening before the Sunderland game, and it was one of those where I can't see how David Clowes can put in an obligation for him to stay as chairman or for Paul Warne to stay as manager for so long, because those decisions need to be taken as things are happening. Now, you can obviously let me know your thoughts down in the comments. I do think a takeover is a good thing for Derby. I do think it's what we need in the investment side of things, but I certainly believe that there is some negatives that could come to it. You have people who at the front could come across as really genuine and wanting to stick along the lines of what David Clowes and Paul Warne have built so far. But then when they get into the position of that 80% control, everything could flip. It's a massive decision to give up this football club, and it's a massive decision for David Clowes on who he gives it to. Now, I am under the impression that the club is funded for the next 2 years, whatever happens. So we're in a situation where David Clowes has time on his hands to make this decision. Now, I think that's probably the best case scenario, because having that time on his hands means that we can sift through any potential suitors and make sure that it's the right one for the club. But you still have that situation of, is this the right deal? Is this the right person for Derby County right now? Is it the right owner? Are they going to do the right things? And obviously David Clowes and Paul Warne have instilled their pillars of what Derby County are meant to be, and it's one of those for me where those pillars are incredible. It works. We're a family club. We always have been a family club, and we're a hard-working town, well, a hard-working city, county, whatever you want to call us, and we've always worked hard, and that's starting to show on the pitch with our performances and the effort levels these players are putting in as a result of the coaching staff. Now, what we don't want to happen is a new owner to come in to take over David Clowes' control and change everything again, because then you go right back to square one as we were coming out of administration. Now, obviously, we're in a much better position now being in the Championship. Obviously, sitting on 12 points after 9 games is a really, really good start for Derby County, and it could be a couple more. But if a new player well, and if a new owner was to come in, a new investor was to come in, it could cause problems. Now, I think best case scenario is it's maybe 5 different investors who would then buy 80%, because then they'd still have less than David Clowes, and it's 5 individual buyers or 5 individual groups, so they aren't together, so they can't turn around and say, well, we've got 80% compared to your 25 or whatever, 20%, sorry. But it's one of those for me where I think takeovers are dangerous, and we've seen in the past under Mel Morris how takeovers can be very, very dangerous. You look at the likes of Eric Alonso, you look at the Sheikhs, you look at obviously Chris Kirshner as well, and you've got to keep your eyes on these deals. And obviously there's not been any more breaking or latest news around the takeover as of the time of recording this, which is 12:18 on Monday morning. But there is a few things obviously that I've wanted to speak about, and it is mainly this control share and David Clowes wanting to stay on as chairman, because is it going to be in an executive position where he has decision-making capacity? Is it going to be in a non-executive position where he's literally just essentially sitting in the meetings, hearing what's going off? I think what David Clowes needs to do is keep his hand in the club, because if something does happen later down the line with any new potential buyer, then it needs to be a possibility for Derby County to be able to pull themselves back out of it again. And obviously David Clowes will know the financial situation then if he's already in, and that'll obviously make it easier for Derby County to continue going forwards. Now, obviously we're in a massive international break right now, coming off the back of a big win over Queen's Park Rangers. Millwall is the next game up. Across the course of the next week, we're going to have some videos talking about Paul Warne's away form as Derby County manager in the Championship, things we could do to change that, and what I think needs to happen for the Millwall game. We're going to be looking ahead to the next run of fixtures. We're also going to be doing the positives of a takeover, because obviously we know in this video I'm talking mainly about the negatives, but there is some positives which come with a potential takeover, and I think they could be incredible. And as we are now in the Championship, so long as we stay up this season, we're just 46 games or 49 games away from being in the promised land of the Premier League, with hundreds of millions of pounds being sent to us as a result of television money. So this is something which obviously we're going to have to keep across. It's something we're going to have to look into over the course of the season. Now, if you have not done so already, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on that notification bell. Make sure you hit that like button as well. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. I'll be back tomorrow with another daily video. We're sticking this channel to daily Derby County content, so make sure you hit that subscribe button down below, turn on that notification bell, and I'll catch you in my next video. Find me on TikTok, pictured here, and Twitter, pictured here. These are the places where I'll keep you all up to date with all my upcoming videos and my thoughts and feelings around the Formula 1 and football weekend.